What's up? Any news happened today in crypto you guys know about? Yeah. So fucking funny, dude. It's funny too because I sent a message in the chat this morning at like 9 o'clock, 9 in the morning, 9:07. I actually just checked before I came on. I was actually just talking to Kaz about it. And, you know, Kaz dropped his tweet where he was like, man, I was so close to getting my short. And he had a plan. The plan was pretty good. And then it's just like they went too early. And I was like, yeah, that sucks, man. I wasn't prepared. And then I was looking through my messages this morning. And at like 9:07 or something, I sent a picture of like all four of the things that I track. The thing that I've showed you guys before. Here, I'll pull it up. This will actually be pretty funny. So at 9:04, right here, I was like, man, I tell you what, we're really lagging today. I wonder if there's going to be some new sanctions. So like I literally at 9:04 posted for the subscribers in the Discord. I think I might have done it even in Telegram, and certainly sent it to my boys where I was like, this is fucking weird. Like, why are we lagging so bad? Huh? So fucking dumb. Fuck's sake. You know, it's just like there's all this stuff coming out now too, and I think I sent that like the screen grab of the post, which was like from 2018. From 2018, an internal communication at Binance where they were like, it was like, we're fucking. I'm just gonna pull it up. It's just easier because I tweeted it. It's hard for me to go into my own tweets while I'm streaming because my fucking tweets are in there because I'm looking at myself. Here you go. As Binance's chief compliance officer bluntly admitted to another Binance compliance officer in December 2018, we're operating as a fucking unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro. Like, you can't make this shit up. It's just too good. Like, it is too fucking good. I can't even stand it. There you go. There's Kaz on the right side. Only in crypto. Yeah, dude, 100%. So, like, there's a couple things about this that are interesting to me. One, like, I've had this debate my entire life, if I'm honest with you, about, like, what came first, the technicals or the bad news, okay? Because we had talked about how this, like, just screwing around here near the bottom of this channel wasn't good, right? We've been talking about it for 2 weeks now. So for 2 weeks, we've been talking about it. And I was like, you know, if we close under, it's not going to be great. And we did barely close under. And straight down. So which came first? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were forecasting it. Maybe next time we have this happen and I'm like, I don't know. You know, this shit looks a little bit off. Then maybe we should just fucking short. Because that'd be nice. Go to SS. What's up, man? Yeah. So I look at this and that's not good. Here's our green zone, but that's not like the strongest green zone given what we've heard. That said, like this goes into what I've talked about several times with you guys, which is like, realized I left my other device on, so I'm shutting that bitch down. All right. I've said this to you guys, before when we talk about bad news. It's almost like you have to create a plan for, like, how bad is the news? And someone might ask you, some of your friends who know you as the crypto guy might ask, like, so how bad is this? And of course the answer is who the fuck knows. But you have to kind of make a plan for the places where it would make sense for there to be a catch, okay? And I have a couple of them that I'm about to give to you. But I would like to harken back now to the conversation that we had on this day with this signal that I posted live in the chat at 31K. At 31K. And I was like, I don't know, man. If we're going to get our punch down, we need to reverse this thing. It was on the fucking day of the high, on April 14th. I was like, I don't know, it doesn't look good. And there has not been a day in almost 2 months that we've traded above the price when I posted that message. There's not been a single day since I posted that message that we've traded above that price for almost 2 months. And you go, well, Jared, how'd you know? Let's right fucking here, dude. It was clear as day. A daily bear divergence that I posted live as it was happening. And it started the breakdown. We've been breaking down ever since. Right? And why do I think we're going at least to 25 2? Well, because we're not that far off anyway. But like, again, we've been talking about this VPVR zone forever, for literally ever. By the way, a bunch of people joined in. Thanks for joining in. There's no real way to look at this. And by the way, I want to talk about this real quick. It's not good, right? So there's the SEC, obviously, is going after Binance. Somebody said earlier in chat, like, why do they even give a fuck? Like, Binance isn't a U.S. company. What are they even going to do? Quite a lot. Because when you control the financial system of the world, even if you're not a U.S. company, you can do quite a bit. And so it is going to fuck with Binance. However, look at this quote. So I made a joke about this quote. The chief compliance officer saying, we're operating as a fucking unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro. Which is funny on its face, okay? But look when the quote is from. December of 2018. I posted this to some of my buddies this morning, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. And like, 2018, you know how small they were in 2018? And I'm like, that's also a pretty solid point. And if you were an international exchange in 2018, this is 5 fucking years ago, almost 5 years ago, would you take on the risk? How many hundreds of millions of dollars have been made by Binance over the last 5 years? Yeah, because CZ's not going to jail. I don't give a fuck what the SEC does. CZ's not going to jail. So if all this was one big science experiment for Binance to be like, how much money can we make before they shut the shit down? Well, they won. You know what I mean? They won. All right, let's go back to the stuff you guys probably care about more. Although if you have comments on this, drop them in the chat. We can talk about it. Not a whole lot has changed functionally from a technical perspective. We've just had some reinforcing signals here that we're going to go over about where this thing might end. But if you have comments on this or you learned something new, let me know, and we'll go over it. So obviously the big thing for me on the VPVR was this was dead. It was dead area going back to before the crisis we had last spring where, Luna broke down, then Sam was a crook, and, Tom Brady lost his money. All that shit was last year, right? Old news, baby. But you know what, X? Whenever somebody says one more Browns, we never get it. We never get it. Like, truly, never get it. So, I would love it. Kaz and I were talking this morning. I was like, I don't know. I think the number, quite frankly, is I have an arrow there, but where I really want there to be an arrow, fuck you, dude, is here. Is the 50-week moving average. Okay. Yeah, I mean, over the weekend would have been a good time. I've been in cash since I made that call. Since I made that call at 31K, I have been mostly in cash. I've played some meme bullshit, but that's with like, a couple grand here, a couple grand there, and it's all disposable anyway. You hope you hit it. So there's really two spots that I think are worth monitoring right here. And I would be absolutely floored if the first one holds. And that's right here. That's this green spot. This is actually a fairly strong area because you had weekly wick up 1, weekly wick up 2, maybe even 3, 4 times. Broke down, and then we've smashed through. So this is not like a small support area. It's actually pretty decent. So you have this small support area. We'll call this from 24.3 to 25.2. And why did I draw that box? Well, I look at the opens and the closes. They line up. You take the wicks. It's somewhere in there. Okay. And if crypto is any indication on this, you're going to, or if crypto is crypto, then you're going to see, like little wicks down below. But that's where I would look for there to be like a, man, we better stop here. Okay. So that'd be one. I don't think that's going to happen. Just calling a spade here. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that this is not good in a real way. I think that they dropped some other shit that, they just kind of subtly slid in where they were like, other things, Matic, Cosmos, blah, blah, blah. And they named like 8 other alts. And we're like, we also believe these are securities. So I didn't really set up the whole thing. It was the SEC is investigating Binance, and they also named Binance US dollars and BNB securities, right? So, and in the course of naming that, they also dropped a bunch of other shit. Matic, Cosmos, I don't know. There's a bunch of them. I'll find it. Christ, where is it? And this is too funny, okay? This is too fucking funny to me. Flashbang. Look at this. Fuck you. Open interest grew $500 million before the SEC lawsuit with Binance. So when I first posted this, that was not part of the title. Okay? They've since updated this title, which makes this even funnier. Because when I first posted this was not here. It was just Bitcoin open interest grows highest level since SVB collapse. And it was ahead of the collapse. So there was enough people that knew about this that $500 million in short positions were opened over the last day and a half. Now, when the article was printed, we didn't have the sell-off yet. So they were kind of positioned it as is it time for number to go up? Pretty funny. And then, somebody took out a $20 million short on BNB right before it was announced, which is just the funniest shit there ever was. Okay, the funniest shit there ever was. But anyway, say all that to say this is a channel break. This to me is as big of a deal as this falling wedge breakout. So this falling wedge, you get the breakout, we move higher, channel break to the downside. I could easily see this range right here be in the range. Be in the range until we decide something else. 17 to 27, somewhere in there. And when we've spoken about this in the past, when we've spoken about landing areas, you have to do it in degrees. In areas of degrees, okay? So the first spot, if amidst all of this, the SEC investigation, CZ, they dropped 9 more names like I just talked about, whatever. If amidst all of that, we hold 24 point whatever, 24.3, then we're going to reclaim the channel, and I'll see you guys at 40K, because there's so much reason. There are so many reasons to be short right now. There's really nothing going on. The halvening doesn't start till next year, next April, almost a freaking year from now, 10 months from now, which is absurd. And then you are seeing gold run away. We're underperforming the S&P. Even though risk assets are moving, we aren't. So there's not a lot of reasons for it to happen. So if we're able to hold amidst that, then there's something coming that would be good. And there are some positives that came out of this today. They dropped all these different tokens and shit that they said were securities, but they never mentioned Bitcoin and they never mentioned Ethereum. So in some regards, that's good. Okay, so maybe that's it. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be willing to bet a decent amount of money, and I'm betting that by not having an active position right now, which I told you guys I've been essentially in cash since I made that call at 31K. If we're able to hold this, it'd be great. This would be, I think, very, very positive. And you can see there's a little zone here. There's a little zone where after we had this little punch out of the wedge, they kind of made this little support area here. Okay. So that'd be the second area. That's also going to align with the 50-week moving average. It's a strong thing. You can go back, and I hope you guys do this, because like this isn't just me fucking around, okay? You guys got to put in the work on your own. But look how often the 50-week moving average is respected. Okay? Had this huge run up, this huge run down. Guess what held it? 50-week. Okay? Huge run up again. We caught the top. Broke down below, tried to re-challenge, hit the 50-week, rejected. So we broke through the 50-week, and now we're going to come back to it. I'm almost certain we're going to come back to it at some point. I mean, it could come to us and we just move sideways, but that's not crypto. So you see this 50-week as a potential spot where it's going to be respected, because you can go back a long time and just see how often the 50-week is respected, and it's like fairly often. Rejected here, supported there, supported there. I mean, this is all after the March of 20 crash, okay? So it's the 50-week moving average is not a fucking 5-minute, 21 segment average. This is no bullshit, okay? People look at this. People will try to make it work. So hopefully we get that. Hopefully we actually see some strength, or they put in a shift here and try to make this little area hold. Because that would be the next best thing. Quite frankly, if we're able to hold this area, this like just above 20K up to like 22, and that's a support, and we don't ever drop lower than that after this bullshit news, we should all consider ourselves unbelievably lucky. Like unbelievably lucky, because it could be way, way worse. It could be way worse than that. All right. So let's look at where else we could go. I just noticed that. Something to draw it on there while I do it. You could theoretically call that, a channel. This would be a place for another high or low that would support what I just said. Alexson, what's up, Doc? Good to see you, man. However, if we don't hold this area, I have no doubt that it'll be like Custer's last stand between 16 and 17K. So it would, when I go through this stuff, all I'm trying to say is, yeah, oh, Jared, you gave us 3 different landing points. Yeah, I did. This should be great. This is not as great, but still okay. This is, we better fucking hold, or it's going to be a very, very dark Christmas. All right. Very, very dark Christmas. And I mean that like not through Christmas, just like it's going to suck. Since I have so many of you on right now, I'll give you the alpha out of your fucking mind update again, where we literally watched this. We talked about how important the level was. I stressed how important this level was. I mentioned we were going to probably have issues. We knew there was going to be weakness against the S&P before everybody else, whilst everyone else was talking about, I'm not sure. Well, we're there again. Okay. We got rejected where we thought we would reject. And now we're back to this area, which we would also love to see it hold. So we want to see some relative strength against the S&P. Flashbanger, thanks, bud. So what we'll say is this. Link just came on and said, will you bid? Will I bid what? The 17 if we got there? Clarify your question, but I'm going to answer the same way regardless, because I'm just curious what you meant by your question. The 50 or the first. Okay. I will bid any place I see a strong reaction. Okay. And that would be not dissimilar to what like we've already seen happen numerous times, right? You see reclaims are a reason to give a shot because you can define your long. Like this was a justifiable long. And I mean, we moved it from, 26 to 28. Not great, but it was something. It was a justifiable long because it looked like a deviation in a range recapture. Okay. So when we talk about these areas, when we talk about this drop down into here, I want to see what happens with price action. If you're seeing wicks down and like it's being fired back up, and over an extended period of time, you actually see people showing up to defend the level, then you know people are interested. And you can look for like really, really good second mouse triggers to confirm that the market makers at large, are planning on holding the area. It's the thing that people don't ever think about or talk about. So, Link, my answer to you would be yes. I would bid the first area if there were signs. I would bid the second area if there were signs. I would bid the third area if there were signs. And I will bid none of them if price action looks like this. Okay, that's just moving sideways, waiting for the next dump. You remember how bad it was when Luna started falling apart and people are like, there's no way it's going to fall apart like this. Bullshit. Okay, we saw it happen with Luna. I'll try to go back on a shorter time frame with Luna. Where are we? Last May. Okay. You saw this broke below here and just kept going down. All right, this is an example of what I was just talking about. This was the breakdown from Luna being a scam, right? And then even when it popped up, it was just like people unloading. Let's cover, let's reload on our short, let's recover, let's reload, and then we go down again. So when you see this like limp dick move sideways, that's how you know there's really no one home. Because any level that was established along the way, like this high was established here, they never had enough to take it out. This is not a 4-hour chart, guys. This isn't a daily. Varant, what's up, bud? So this is on a 4-hour chart. This isn't even a daily chart. They could never actually sustain a breakout on the 4-hour. And so when we talk about price action, this is what we're talking about. Wick. That's getting sold. Wicks here, we're getting sold. Wicks here, we're getting sold. Got sold, broke down, tried again. And then, hey, here comes the next waterfall when it got even worse. Okay? So that's the kind of shit that if you see this, where it's like, we have not been able to take out and sustain one single relevant area, then we're going to keep going lower. You need to see something go on where it looks like people are trying to make it work. And you can even see like the swings in price. And then down here where we actually got our breakout and which started this up, price action got a little lower, got a little tighter. People were falling asleep on Bitcoin. We broke out on a high time frame falling wedge, which is a bullish chart pattern, and then kept moving higher. And you saw strength in taking out these levels. It's strength in taking out these levels. Because here's the thing, let's be honest. If you're in this for the long term and you actually like Bitcoin long term, you shouldn't care about wicking the lows. You really shouldn't. Because there will be a buy that's going to be logical between now and the next halvening. There will be. I promise you. There will be a buy that makes sense where everyone looks at it in retrospect and goes, fuck, I cannot believe I did not buy that. And that's what we're on the hunt for right now. The only reason we're doing this, guys, like, do I need to stream 2 times a week when it sucks out here right now? I really don't. I'm just pretty bored. And I like talking to you guys. All right? Like, there's not shit going on. There's going to be a buy that later on makes sense. What's that, X? Oh, the Apple Air headset? Yeah, that looks sick. And maybe it's like the re-challenge down here and the reclaim or something. But there will be one that everyone looks back later and goes, holy shit, how did I not buy it? Last cycle, you know what it was? March of 20 crash. Because it recovered. Even if you didn't believe it then, there were a ton of times where it could have made sense. All right? As soon as you saw this area break and hold after March of 20, all right? This is the easiest shit there is. This is like even, you know, if you've never really traded before, this should be the easiest shit you've ever seen. Yes, this is on a 3-day chart. So this is what I'm saying. You could have had all this time to buy. Let's say you were a Bitcoin skeptic before the crash. You're like, you know, I don't know. You see this crash come down to 3,800. Yeah, it is what I thought. Came back to the area you saw before. Still don't like it. And you never saw a breakout. We were just, dude, I was trading during this time, okay? We were just as likely to do this if Bitcoin was truly a scam at the time. Just as likely to come back down to the bottom. But we didn't. What happened was you saw strength. It was this strength right here to take out the previous highs before the crash and after the crash of COVID, anywhere in here, these are 3-day bars, anywhere in here when it was retested from the bottom, any of these days, we're talking about weeks at this point, 3 weeks, where it was able to hold this, you would have gotten long at $10,000 per Bitcoin. And you would have had 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 40 to 45 fucking days to decide to get long between 10 and 12K as it was holding up. Are you telling me that if you had done that, you would have been pissed you didn't catch it at 3,800? You're only going to be able to get a 5X? Because that's what happened from there. 5X from 12K? Actually more than that, right? So, look how high. What's it, 65,000, dude? Off 12. And you had 45 days to go, you know what? It looks like they're not going to let this thing fall apart again. So that's what I mean by like obvious areas. You have to think about this in terms of long-term value. Is Bitcoin going anywhere? I assure you it's not. I assure you it's not, at least not yet. We had a theoretical conversation about quantum computing last week with Ataxia, which started to freak me out a little bit. But hopefully they're thinking about that as a security notion between now and whenever the hell that's like a more widely available thing. But you know, you could make the case that this sort of double top we broke through, and then you have all this area to get long again. It looks just like what happened after the crash. It might be, but the thing is, I would want to see strength here that was like what we saw here. Okay, it came back down. I mean, you could call this today. I mean, shit, this actually, now that I say this looks pretty familiar, does it not? 1, 2, break out, come down, and here we are. Okay, so if we see this hold, and you're just like sitting here chilling, and we never get the breakdown, and then it tries to take out the previous highs, hell yeah, dude. Long like your life depends on it, because life's about to get real good. So that's what we do now, man. Like, we just look for the right time. We look for the right time. We've had clues all along that some shit was going to happen, though. We watched us lag our dicks off against the S&P 500. If you guys need a reminder about what it looks like when we're outperforming the S&P 500, when Bitcoin is truly about to take off, it looks like this. Okay? It looks like this. It doesn't look like it's rolling over and about to die. Okay? That's like a pretty good clue that now is not the time, that the bottom is not in, that we're not about to go to the fucking moon without any further hiccups, okay? It doesn't. And heaven forbid this, holy shit, dude, versus the QQQ, which is what we're more closely associated with anyway. Right? There's that same time frame on the QQQ. Look at that. And we're getting smashed by risk assets in the technology sector right now. Now is not the time. Now is not the time. I will say this, as I look, it really sucks, dude. What really sucks is what we talked about last week being the thing that would get Bitcoin and crypto moving again was a breakout and a catch up of the IWM and the fucking S&P, and we got it, and we're still going down. All right, and we're still going down. As I look back, I have 6 screens here. As I look back at what's happening with the S&P and the VIX, the S&P is about to go down. I guarantee you, the S&P is about to mean revert. It just does. It's a mean reverting instrument. So we're going down ahead of the move down on the S&P. What's going to happen when we go down further? I don't know. Last week we talked about the one bullish thing we had going for us was that Ethereum had a breakout, was holding the level, was trying to get higher, and hadn't surrendered the bottom of the channel or this little mini breakout that it had. And guess what happened? We did both in one day. It is holding. It does have better relative strength. I mean, you can see it right here. ETH BTC. ETH is doing better. Or ETH, if you're a dick about it. Yeah. Only correlated down, but not up. Yeah, well, that works. I mean, this is a pretty fantastic breakout on the weekly if they can hold it. That's nice relative strength right there. Pretty nice, I think, anyway. Let me show you this. This is what I was just referring to. This is the screen I was looking at. How often does the S&P just run roughshod over the top of the Bollinger Band? Not often. It does not happen often. And by often, I mean ever. Right? You know what, RGO? I haven't even seen that yet. If you send it to me, I will look at it and talk about it on Thursday, though. What you said, so what RGO just said was, how do you comment? How do you comment? I'm guessing he's saying, what do you think about those ETH transactions by Vitalik and the other co-founder to Kraken? Also before the announcement of the SEC Binance news. Yeah, I hadn't seen it yet. I'll take a look. I mean, really, like, who gives a shit? For the most part, that's how I feel. Ethereum and Bitcoin have kind of gotten so big that I don't think people really care anymore. Like, administrators don't care anymore. They're like, you know what? You know how much we would piss people off by actively going after Bitcoin and Ethereum? It would piss people off a lot. Let's just go after other people. Everybody hates Chinese. Let's go after Binance. I'm kidding. Everybody doesn't hate Chinese. I personally like Chinese people. What I'm saying is, you're not going to catch a lot of shit from that from politicians for going after Binance, who's run by Chinese nationals, right? Probably not. And you get your point across to be like, hey, I'm no longer fucking around here. You guys are going to need to stop that. Right? Oh, goddamn it. I don't want to copy price. I want to reset chart. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. We'll see what happens. I'm not lost, or it is not lost on me that this is really close as well. You have the 200-day at 23. The 50 was capped. This has done exactly what I've explained before that divergence should do. Come down, break through, re-challenge. We're going lower. 100% makes sense. Okay, that makes complete sense to me, actually. So now we look for signals going the other way. I don't see it yet. I see nothing that says a bottom is coming based on just momentum indicators. I don't see anything like that. Doesn't mean it can't come out of nowhere, though. Momentum is a lagging indicator. It is a lagging indicator. At least the one that I use is, because I would rather use a lagging indicator versus a leading indicator, because leading indicators are oftentimes very, very wrong. And if you don't weight WEIGHT, weight leading indicators appropriately, you will go broke. That's a promise. So yeah, I like lagging indicators. I like doing things safely. I like putting myself in the best position to succeed. It's why the name of the show is Plus Expected Value. Because if you know what that concept is, you're like, I fucking get it. And if not, well, you'll either go broke or you'll learn. So 1, 2, 3, best case scenario, second best case scenario, and oh shit. So I tweeted that a link just said, do you think the S&P will dump when the Fed pauses this month? That wouldn't be the reason for it. There was that article that I, quite frankly, don't really understand, but it talked about the incoming liquidity crisis that's going to happen just from like overall float of the US dollar based on the debt ceiling and how it was structured. That could definitely do it. So it'll be very curious. When is Fed Day this month? I need to open that shit up. Hold on a second. It is soon? Okay, hold up. The 14th, Wednesday, June 14th. Let's see. Balance of trade this Wednesday. Yeah. So all the fun happens next week. So we know right now that Tuesday the 13th, Wednesday the 14th are going to be inflation followed by the Fed decision, okay? Inflation followed by the Fed decision. I guarantee you, you're going to get liquidity games and bullshit between now and then. 100%. 100%. Liquidity games and bullshit between now and then. I just realized I didn't even have this on my screen. There you go. My bad. Remember, tradingeconomics.com/calendar. Next week, Tuesday. Next week, Wednesday. I mean, you got the added benefit of economic projections being added to this. So we'll see what they say. But yeah, we'll probably just see a bunch of nonsense and bullshit leading into that, as we always should do. We'll go to the daily here and put on our little vertical lines. There you go. That's when the fun starts. 13th and 14th. So you're going to see nothing but liquidity games between now and then. Here. I mean, yeah. Best alpha I can give you. Put event days as vertical lines on your chart. You know, be like, oh, huh. Now that I know it's there and I look at my chart every day and I see how we react going into those event days, it gives you a pretty good idea. Sometimes gives you a tip about how things are going to react. It's pretty sweet. As for the S&P itself, like they've been, I mean, this looks like we're about to get momentum. Now, it looks like we're about to get momentum. Yeah. They need to punch. They need to punch badly. You're looking at a bear divergence there, too. So if we really do turn around and shit ourselves imminently, then you're going to see a reversal on the S&P as well. That said, this is nothing but strength. Nothing but strength recently for the NQ. Yeah. Nothing but strength. Link. Dan finally got his fill. Good for him. Blur sucks. Arb. Bottom of a bear flag. QQQ. Nothing but glory. ETHBTC. Yeah. So, you know, that's a pretty good day for BNB. Quite frankly, I'm shocked that Binance is holding up this well. You know what I mean? I just want to let you know that I made some absolutely ignorant purchases on Binance Smart Chain when it was $40 per. Like, ignorant. Like, some of the dumbest. I can't even explain it to you. I was spending so much BNB back here on this stupid fucking llama NFT game. It was literally at its height when it was $700. I think you could have appropriated like this stupid ass money that I spent on dumbass Binance Chain. In my opinion, it probably was $250,000 at its height. Because it like 15x from when I was doing that. There you go. I would encourage you to do that as well. That'll be the breakdown area for Binance. The fact that on a day where it's like, hey, we're coming after Binance, you're never going to do anything on the international stage again, and it's only down 10% on that day, it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. The dollar having some issues near the Virgin Mid. Not shocking. I'm guessing you're still going to see it at $1.05. $1.05. 105. I mean to say. And then we'll see. So these things might move in tandem. You could see theoretically like this moving up to here at the same time while Bitcoin is moving down, into here. And then you have some confluence between the dollar and Bitcoin. That'd be pretty nice, to be honest, if we got that lucky. I mean, gold so badly wants to send. It's ridiculous. It so badly wants to send. I don't think it will, though. I mean, this is a monthly chart. I don't think it will, though, until like the next crisis, and then you'll see just some crazy ass shit happen. Some like truly crazy stuff. The funniest part about that is people talk about all the printing and shit that went on, but look what happened to gold, okay? Here's gold the month of the COVID crash, right here, okay? They retested it already. It was 152. So it took it up to $200, and they're like, all right, we'll back it off. It was only worth 33% move, but we printed $70 trillion or whatever it was. Yeah, no one gave a shit. Doge. Juno, absolute bag of dicks, 100%. Also interesting is this. Coin, just kind of hanging out. Oh yeah, I haven't looked at it. Is it good? Is it bad? I mean, yeah, that's pretty impressive strength on a shitty day. On a shit day to still be like kind of holding this higher level, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It held the 50, which is nice. Target, hilarious. Always a good time. Oil, kind of low. XRP. Everybody's been talking about XRP. Here's the thing about XRP. All right. If they get a favorable ruling, it's going to absolutely send. And here's the basic thesis for that. In fact, I think you should create a plan to find a way to get a comfortable long on XRP. And the reason for that is if they get a favorable ruling after you've had a bunch of crazy shit happen, like we have today, where it's SEC investigating Binance, this is security, that's a security, and then XRP already went through all this, that's going to be enough of a reason for a pump in XRP. Now, the people who have liked XRP forever will be insufferable. It'll be the worst. Like the absolute fucking worst. I told you, man, XRP to the moon. Bitcoin, what? Ethereum, what? XRP. Like, you're going to hear some really horrible shit. That said, I have made a lot of money off a lot of annoying people, and I will suffer through the annoyance for money. You know what I mean? So, if you want, this is how I would look for that to be foreshadowed. It'll be foreshadowed on this chart. XRPF. So yeah, Flashbang, X, Link, Argio, you guys, Variant, who I know are going to hang out for a while. Let's keep each other honest on this shit. If someone sees relative strength in XRP versus Ethereum or Bitcoin, you got to let us all know so we can all get rich together. Because if it happens, we'll see it here first. You'll see it start to just creep. It'll just start creeping towards a breakout, and then it will send, right? You're not going to see it in the XRP price because the XRP price just looks like shit. Like, you can get it a little bit here, but, Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said Marquette too. All right, so like you'll see it creeping in terms of relative strength. I mean, it's up against it right now. They think it's going to happen. Flashbang, yeah, of course. So I don't know. We'll have to make sure we stay on top of that. I mean, you can see there's room right now if it breaks out on any decent move It's a 40% move. Oh, where you are, Joe? That's awesome. Also, Paul had maybe the best. Hold on, go back. Paul had the best comment in Telegram today, and it was that announcement of the $20 million open interest on BNB before the announcement, and it was like only Binance would use insider trading to get ahead to pay for their suit about insider trading, which is true. They probably made tens of millions of dollars today just shorting their own shit. And they'll be able to just withdraw that money and, put together a pretty good legal case. Free legal case, baby, just by insider trading. Good for them. Do you. Whatever. I'll go to BTC. Hold on. Yeah, see, even though the USD price actually looks pretty decent, these charts look like shit. You know what I mean? Like, it looks horrible. XRP to the moon. Yeah, I mean, all right. You say so, dude. There's not much there. Like, you're seeing, like, Bitcoin's been performing like shit, and it's done really nothing versus Bitcoin over that period. So, yeah, I don't see it. 2855, that's fine. I mean, really, just like, you just would want to see this moving away from Bitcoin or Ethereum. Just showing them some, like, oh, that's weird. On a day where, the market didn't do anything, all of a sudden XRP kind of pulls away a little bit or starts to sustain it. That will be the tip. Oh, Christ. All right. DYDX. Yeah, I mean, that really is. This is my last thing, and then I'm going to go. It's a good point, and I think Icebergy, tweeted it earlier, and I liked it. The biggest implication for this is shit like DYDX and GMX are going to have an unbelievable next cycle. Like, an unbelievable next cycle. Because everything has been hit. Okay? So if GMX or DYDX or whatever start opening up exchanges, if you will, that are now going to trade alts, like wrap them in Ethereum and trade them. I mean, dude, come on. It's what they should do. GMX and DYDX being like, hey, we'll list you. Here's how you got to deposit your coins. We'll provide a market maker. You got to wrap them in Ethereum or whatever. Send it to Arbitrum, and we can trade it there. And now everyone's just going to be trading on rollups instead of on places where we have to KYC, which makes perfect sense. It's what we should have been doing all along. Quite frankly, guys, I don't really give a shit that Binance got hit. Let's think about this for a moment. This is my last little soliloquy, and then I'm out of here. If we had just gotten here a little bit faster, if we had just all innovated a little bit earlier, come to grips with the fact that Sam was some fucking fro-haired dipshit, then we wouldn't have been putting so much money in FTX. Then we wouldn't have been putting so much money on Binance. So then we wouldn't have, we would have just all built on chain and done shit on chain where I don't give a fuck who the SEC goes after unless you're dumb enough to start a protocol in the US and be like, yeah, I do run ARB from Chicago. Then what the fuck are they going to do? Drop on a VPN, do whatever you like from wherever you live, and they can fuck off. Like, it always had to go this way. The SEC going after Binance bothers me exactly zero much. I have not used Binance since they started doing that other KYC shit like 2 years ago, whenever that was. I have money on there that I'm just like, not worth it. A couple $1,000. Like, I'm just not going to go through the hassle to try to get it off. Certainly not now. And then be like, oh yeah, here's my KYC for my $2,000. If you ever get in a situation where you're giving up the information of the people who are Americans, Please give them my information. So, yeah, it always had to go this way. But the DYDX, the GMX, those on-chain exchanges with the most volume are going to be enormous. Absolutely enormous. Am I wrong? Do you see a way that another FTX pops up and people are like, oh shit, send me the money? And there's some implications with that. That would be like, it's a lot harder to onboard money into crypto. Maybe not that. Maybe it's not hard to onboard money into crypto. Maybe it just takes a lot longer. Like people have to actually become indoctrinated with like how crypto works, which would not be the worst thing in the fucking world. The problem is people are going to use hot wallets and be dipshits, and you know, as a former hot wallet dipshit who got hacked for a significant amount of money, it's not a good time, and there's going to be a lot more of those until we get better. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. Zed, what's up, bud? I'm actually about to sign off, my guy. My son actually has swim lessons. But I'll do a quick recap. There's 3 areas we're looking at on the weekly chart. Anytime you see high volatility moves in anything, I don't give a shit what it is, an IPO, stock, whatever, you switch to a high time frame and find a place that makes sense. In my opinion, there are 3 places. This is the first one. Here's the second one. At the 50-week moving average, here's the third one. There is not a 4th one to me. There is not a 4th one to me. So when we get into this zone, I will have my head on a swivel looking for some sort of strength. If it breaks down, same thing here. If that breaks down, same thing here. This is very easy, guys. I don't think any of us were so disillusioned to think that we were going to have some crazy ass run into the Bitcoin halving. But it's a year away. It's 10 months away. Capital preservation is the only thing that matters right now. Capital preservation right now. There's 3 places that this thing could stop. And when you see market makers or people step into those areas, you want to get on board too. Right? That's what I would do. I had to go find a place to play my outro, man.
5 to the 4 to the
3, 2, 1, word. Remember, this song, this outro is started from the bottom, now we hear. You could argue I should change it to started from the bottom, now we hear. Now we're kind of back to the bottom again. But it's for the greater good. There's no fucking way centralized exchanges are going to have a role in crypto long term. No way. Plan the trade, trade the plan. You got it. There is no way. So we need to all get into the habit of trading on chain, of doing things on chain, of using GMX, of using DYDX, and actually living what we preach, right? Thank you all for joining in. I'll be back on Thursday, 10 a.m. We'll check in. Take care. Be safe. You got it, Marquette.